Hello, Mark. This is Wendy, and my student number is S0041053. Chapter 19. Chide. Correlation. Commensurate. Connotation. Diabolic. Dilapidated. Integral. Noxious. Scenario. Yen. 10 words in context. In the space provided, write the letter of the meaning closest to that of each bold-faced word. Use the context of the sentences to help you figure out each word's meaning. Number 1. Chide. Verb. My parents chided me for getting sunburned, but my blistered skin hurt a lot more than their scolding. Elsie was right to chide me when I lazily threw the newspapers into the trash instead of stacking and tying them for recycling. Chide means A. To commend, B. To criticize, C. To be cruel to. Number 2. Coalition. None. 4 colleagues formed a coalition to operate a shared center of higher education. A coalition of 1 sheriff, 2 horses thieves, 3 stagecoach robbers, and a couple of crooked gamblers once made up the government of Virginia City. Coalition means A. One part of a whole. B. A neighborhood. C. A partnership. Number 3. Commensurate. Adjective. Most students who work hard will eventually see results commensurate with their efforts. The expression make the punishment fit the crime means that a penalty should be commensurate with the degree of wrongdoing. Commensurate means A. Essential to, B. Delayed by, C. Consistent with. Number 4. Connotation. None. For many of us, the word sea has a connotation of solid air and vast openness. Sayonara, the Japanese word for goodbye, actually means if it must be so, and thus has connotations of sadness at parting. Connotation means A. A suggestive meaning, B. A handicap, C. Warning. Number 5. Diabolic. Adjective. In the musical Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street, the barber is indeed diabolic. He kills his clients by cutting their throat, so that his friend, Mrs. Lovett, can make the victims into meat pies. The horror story featured open graves, walking corpses, and the diabolic villain who turned an entire townful of people into zombies. Diabolic means A. Lazy, B. Frightened, C. Devilish. Number 6. Dilapidated. Adjective. The dilapidated house must have once been handsome. Some of its broken windows are stained glass, and the loose door hinges are fine metalwork. His teddy bear is dilapidated with its hair with its ears hanging by threads and the stuffing come out. But the little boy won't let go of it long enough for anyone to repair it. Dilapidated means A. Out of proportion. B. Strongly desired. C. Run down. Number 7. Integral. Adjective. Arguing seems to be an integral part of Laura and Ned's relationship. If they weren't fighting, they'd have nothing to say to each other. Voting is integral to democracy. Without free elections, a democratic system cannot continue to exist. Integral means A. Essential. B. Very small. C. Predicted. Number 8. Noxious. Adjective. When you are cleaning, never mix ammonia and bleach. The noxious gas they produced could land you in the hospital. The entire office building had to be evacuated when noxious fumes started coming out of the air vents and dozens of workers got sick. Noxious means A. Potential. B. Unhealthy. C. Impossible. Number 9. Scenario. None. I've worked out an overall scenario for the movie, the screenwriter said, but I haven't gone beyond the basic plot. To help governments and industries plan for the future, experts sometimes develop scenarios describing what might happen in the next year or decade. Scenario means A. An outline of possible events. B. A budget. C. An actual occurrence. Number 10. Yen. None. Whenever I have a yen for a cigarette, I chew on a pencil instead. My yen for garlic bagel chips doesn't go away even after I've eaten a whole bagful. Yen means A. A longing. B. A feeling of disapproval. C. A memory. Matching words with definitions. Following are definitions of the 10 words. Clearly write or print each word next to its definition. The sentences above and on the previous page will help you decide on the meaning of each word. 1. Noxious. Harmful to life or health. Poisonous. 2. Scenario. A sequence of events that is imagined, assumed, or suggested. 3. Diabolic. Very cruel, wicked, demonic. 4. Chide. To scold mildly or express disapproval. 5. Yen. A strong desire, craving. 6. Integral. Necessary to the whole, belonging to the whole. 7. Coalition, a union of individuals, groups, or nations for some specific purpose. 8. Commensurate, corresponding in degree, number, or size, in proportion. Connotation, a secondary meaning suggested by a word, in addition to the word's dictionary definition. Number 10. Dilapidated, fallen into a state in which repairs are badly needed, broken down. Caution, do not go any further until you are sure the above answers are correct. Then you can use the definitions to help you in the following practices. Your goal is eventually to know the words well enough so that you don't need to check the definitions at all. Sentence check 1. Using the answer line provided, complete each item below with the correct word from the box. Use each word once. A. Child. B. Coalition. C. Commensurate. D. Connotation. E. Diabolic. D. F. Dilapidated. G. Integral. H. Noxious. I. Scenario. J. Yen. 1. The doctor chided Rick for not following her advice about switching to a low-fat diet. 2. One Chinese emperor was so quick to have people executed that his officials always said their last goodbyes when they were summoned to the presence of their diabolic ruler. 3. We may argue about whether character or plot is more important, but they are both integral to any novel. 4. The New York Telephone Directory lists hundreds of different coalitions, including action groups for Korean American voters, fairness to Africa, and a smoke-free city. 5. Often, to satisfy a yen, I eat something sweet only to find that the sweetness has produced an equally strong craving for something salty. 6. I wish I could give you a grade commensurate with the excellence of your paper. The teacher said, unfortunately, there is no such a grade as A++. 7. Connotations. 7. Dictionaries usually don't give the connotations of words. These associated meanings become familiar to us only through experience. 8. My parents always know when my friend Theo has been here because his dilapidated old car, which has a leaky radiator, leaves a puddle of water in the driveway. 9. Cigarettes aren't bad only for smokers. Secondhand smoke is also noxious and can be harmful to everyone nearby. 10. I had thought up several scenarios of how my widowed mother might marry again, but I never would have predicted what actually happened. She married my widowed father-in-law. Note: now check your answers to these questions by turning to page 178. Going over the answers carefully will help your paper for the next two practices for which answers are not given. Sentence check 2. Using the answer lines provided, complete each item below with 2 words from the box. Use each word once. When Red M&M's were discontinued, angry consumers chided the company and formed a coalition for the restoration and preservation of Red M&M's. The company hastily reinstated the red pieces. The developers who endangered the local water supply by dumping noxious waste in the landfill did not get a punishment that was commensurate with their reprehensible act. They had to pay only a small fine. A dark, dilapidated old house in our neighborhood scares local children who feel that the quiet, unfriendly owner is some sort of diabolic villain. The TV writer was distraught. The producer taught me to shorten the script by cutting the deathbed scene out of my scenario. But how can I? It's an integral part of the story. While the word yan can refer to a strong desire for anything, to many people, it has the specific connotation of a sharp longing for a particular food. Final check. Halloween troubles. Here is a final opportunity for you to strengthen your knowledge of the 10 words. First, read the following selection carefully, then fill in each blank with a word from the box at the top of the previous page. Contest clues will help you figure out which words goes in which blank. Use each word once. Discomfort was such an integral part of my childhood Halloweens that I wouldn't have recognized the holiday without it. In retrospect, I think I must have been a masochist. As a Dutch girl, I limped from door to door in crippling wooden shoes. As a vampire with sharp fangs, I cut my lower lip every time I said trick or treat. Even today, the word Halloween carries for me connotations of physical misery. My scenario for the perfect Halloween encompassed not only scaring others, but also frightening myself. So I was willing to approach even the most scary-looking houses, once sure to be haunted or to be belonged to diabolic witches waiting to boil children for dinner. Generally, such houses were dilapidated, with cracked windows, creaking steps, and loose shutters banging in the wind. Even scarier than those places, however, were the coalitions of high school students. At any moment, these gangs might corner me and demand your candy or your life. I might die if I refuse to relinquish my baby Ruth, Hershey's Kisses, and 3 musketeers. My candy haul was always disappointing, never commensurate with what I had suffered on my runs. In addition, as soon as I returned home, my parents would order me to throw out all unwrapped candy, since it might contain some noxious substance, even poison. By then, of course, I had built up a powerful and indiscriminate yen for candy, and candy at all. So I would stuff myself with the loot that remained and then be chided for getting sick. Scores. Sentence check 2. Final check. Enter your scores above and in the vocabulary performance chart on the side under inside back cover of the book. Chapter 28. Deride, derogatory, fabricate, impending, macabre, misconstrue, paramount, quandary, turbulent, validate. 10 words in contest. In the space provided, write the letter of the meaning closest to that of each bold-faced word. Use the context of the sentences to help you figure out each word's meaning. Number 1. Deride. Verb. One nightclub comedian derides members of the audience, poking fun at their looks, clothing, and mannerisms. He said they know it's just part of the act. Walter went on a diet after several classmates derided him by calling him lardo and blimpy. Deride means A. To misunderstand, B. To mock, C. To argue with. Number 2. Derogatory. Adjective. Lorenzo's derogatory remark about his boss. He called her an airhead caused him to get fired. Tracy makes derogatory comments about Karen behind his back, saying that he's vain, sloppy, and lazy, but she never says such things to his face. Derogatory means A. Uncomplimentary, B. Mistaken, C. Provable. Number 3. Fabricate. Verb. Supermarket tabloids often fabricate ridiculous stories, such as boy is born wearing green sneakers. When she handed in her term paper late, Diane fabricated a story that her computer had crashed. The truth is that she doesn't even use a computer. Fabricate means A. To avoid, B. To prove, C. To invent. Number 4. Impending. Adjective. Gary never starts until an exam is impending. If he'd start sooner, he wouldn't have to cram so hard. Because of the company's impending move, the office manager said, I'm not ordering any surprise until next month, when we'll be in the new office. Impending means A. Approaching, B. Apparent, C. Important. Number 5. Macabre. Adjective. Edgar Allan Poe's story, The Fall of the House of Usher, is a macabre tale, which in which someone is buried alive. The movie opened with a macabre scene, a row of bodies lying in drawers in the city morgue. Macabre means A. Confusing, B. Mocking, C. Gruesome. Misconstrue, verb. Conchita would like to date Matt, but when she told him she was busy last weekend, he misconstrued her meaning, thinking she wasn't interested in him. Many readers misconstrue Robert Frost's well-known line, "Good fences make good neighbors." They think it's Frost's own opinion, but the line is spoken by an unneighborly character. Misconstrue means A. To misunderstand, B. To understand, C. To ignore. Number 7. Paramount. Adjective. When you are driving on rain-slick, icy, or winding roads, good traction is of paramount importance, so always be sure your tires are in top condition. Paramount Pictures must have chosen its name to suggest that its movies were superior to all others. Paramount means A. Spring, B. Growing, C. Successful. Number 8. Quandary, noun. Bonita was in a quandary. She couldn't decide whether to return to school, take a job she had just been offered, or move to Alaska with her family. Aaron is in a quandary over financial matters. He is baffled by the problems of making a budget, handling credit, and paying taxes. Quandary means A. A state of confusion, B. A state of anger, C. A state of confidence. Number 9. Turbulent. Adjective. The turbulent air made the plane rock so wildly that passengers felt as if they were on a roller coaster. The Warner's household tends to be turbulent. Whenever Mr. Warner gets upset, he yells and throws things. Turbulent means A. Violent, B. Distant, C. Unusual. Number 10. Validate. Verb. Many people believe Columbus sailed west to validate the theory that the world is round, but in 1492, the fact that the world is round was already well known. There is no real doubt about the dangers of smoking. The claim that smoking is a serious health risk has been validated by many studies. Validate means A. To misinterpret, B. To confirm, C. To invent. Matching words with definitions. Following are definitions of the 10 words. Clearly write or print each word next to its definition. The sentences above and on the previous page will help you decide on the meanings of each word. Number 1. Turbulent. Full of wild disorder or wildly irregular motion. Violently disturbed. Macabre. Suggestive of death and decay. Frightful, causing horror and disgust. Quandary. a state of uncertainty or confusion about what to do. Predicament. Derogatory. Expressing a low opinion. Belittling. Validate. To show to be true. Prove. Misconstrue. To misinterpret, misunderstand the meaning or significance of. Deride. To make fun of, ridicule. Fabricate. To make up a story, information, in order to deceive, invent a lie. Impending. About to happen. Imminent. Paramount. Of greatest concern or importance. Foremost. Chief in rank or authority. Caution. Do not go any further until you are sure the above answers are correct. Then you can use the definitions to help you in the following practices. Your goal is eventually to know the words well enough so that you don't need to check the definitions at all. Sentence check 1. Using the answer line provided, complete each item below with the correct word from the box. Use each word once. A. Deride. B. Derogatory. C. Fabricate. D. Impending. E. Macabre. F. Misconstrue. G. Paramount. H. Quandary. I. Turbulent. J. Validate. Mel has a macabre hobby. He visits places where murders were committed. We had skipped dinner in order to get to the play on time. So, throughout the performance, food, not the drama, was paramount in our thoughts. Just before I was fired, I had a scene of impending disaster. I could tell that something bad was about to happen. Delia misconstrued Miguel's friendliness as romantic interest. She didn't realize that he already had a girlfriend. When my friend said her teacher was different, I wasn't sure if she meant the description to be complimentary or derogatory. One didn't show up for the final exam because he hadn't studied, but he fabricated a story about having a flat tire. In the psychology class, the students had an interesting team assignment. They had to make some statements about human nature and then validate it by finding supporting evidence. Ivan is in a quandary over his car. He doesn't know whether to get his old car the major repairs it desperately needs, takes out a loan and buy his dream car, or spend the money he has on another used car he doesn't like. The sun may seem to be shining calmly and steadily, but in fact, nuclear reactions inside the sun are causing a seething mass of turbulent flames. A critic once derided a book he disliked by saying, "This is not a novel to be tossed aside lightly. It should be thrown with great force." Note: now check your answers to these questions by turning to page 179. Going over the answers carefully will help you prepare for the next two practices, for which answers are not given. Sentence check 2. Using the answer lines provided, complete each item below with 2 words from the box. Use each word once. Many surfers prefer turbulent water to more uniform waves. Their paramount goal is excitement, and they get a feeling of exhilaration from confronting a dangerous situation. I was in a quandary over whether to study, practice the piano, or go to a movie with my friend. So, to complicate things further, wanted to see a macabre horror film, and I dislike anything gruesome. When the evidence does not validate their theories, scrupulous researchers will report his honesty, but less conscientious researchers will flout scientific ethics and fabricate fake results to appear to prove their theories. With the trial impending, the defense lawyer tried to forestall negative news stories by asking for a gag order. The lawyer argued that if derogatory stories about his client's character were published, the trial would be a travesty of justice. Misconstrued. When Craig called Peggy the perfect secretary, she was offended. He was complimenting her, but she misconstrued his comment, thinking he had derided her by saying she belonged in a subordinate position. Final check. Rumors. Here is a final opportunity for you to strengthen your knowledge of the 10 words. First, read the following selection carefully. Then fill in each blank with a word form from the box at the top of the previous page. Context clues will help you figure out which words goes in which blank. Use word once. Did you hear that Kmart sold sweaters with baby snakes inside? The story, of course, was untrue, but it was not easy to squelch. How do such rumors get started? Sometimes they are fabricated. In the case of the Kmart rumor, the story was actually fraudulent. Someone had deliberately made it up and disseminated it to discredit the store. Often, though, a rumor starts with an innocent misinterpretation. For instance, when a magazine article drew an analogy between a worm farm turning out bad and McDonald's turning out hamburgers, some readers misconstrued this to mean that McDonald's was grinding up worms in its burgers. And the preposterous story spread. Rumors about individuals can start when someone makes an derogatory statement or derides someone else out of rancor or jealousy. Josie got an A because she's dating Professor X, or L isn't in class today. He left town because he knew his arrest for being a peeping Tom was impending. Even an innuendo, something that's merely hinted at, can start a rumor. Josie and Professor X are really quite discreet. Are they? No story is too gruesome to make the grounds, not even the macabre tale of the girl whose behavior housed a black widow spider, which eventually burrowed into her brain and killed her. Once a rumor gets started, people who hear it are sometimes in a quandary even if there's nothing to corroborate the humor. They may afraid to ignore it, and so there is a proliferation of rumors, spreading fear, damaging reputations, and turning calm situations into turbulent ones. To stop or forestall humors, one thing is probably of paramount importance. Before accepting any story, be sure that facts validated. Scores. Sentence check 2. Final check. Enter your scores above and in the vocabulary performance chart on the inside back cover of the book.